Hello, welcome to Anime Mystics. I'm Roman, and tonight I am watching Blue Exorcist Episode 2. So last episode we were introduced to the main character, Rin. He basically lives with his father at I think it's basically at like a church, maybe not a monastery. Might be a monastery. Anyway, he's a Catholic priest. Not Rin, but his father. Called Exorcist. Helping people with problems that they're having. Very special problems. And Rin, I think, was just... I think in this episode it was said that he had lost a job. But his brother, Yukio, in case you're wondering, I looked up the names so I could remember who they were, because I didn't at first. And the other priests I'm going to say the church for now until I get a correct name for it. Basically told him about a job that a store was looking to fill. Got him ready, put him in a suit and a tie, and well, they didn't put him in the tie. He was having problems putting the tie on, but as he was leaving, his dad put it on him. So he went to the job interview. The lady that was interviewing him basically was getting some on-the-job experience for him. Basically, gave him an apron, told him to do a task, which the first task was to move a bunch of boxes to the outside of the store in the front. Which he did pretty quickly. But then one of them ripped open and a bunch of the merchandise fell out, or all of the merchandise fell out. Basically everything she sent him to do, he would do it, but something would go wrong every time. The only thing he got right was, I believe he was on a break, sitting next to like a food sample stand. They were making yakisoba, I believe it was. And the lady asked if he wanted to try some, and he says, yeah, sure. She hands him some, and it's horrible. Not good at all. So he says, let me give it a shot. He goes up there, starts cooking it, and now he's like surrounded by people who want to try it. Well, the other lady is telling everybody what they use to make it, which is, all the items they can get at the store. The manager comes up, tries some of it, and then tells them to be back tomorrow. That they have their team meetings, I believe, at like 6 or 8 in the morning, something like that. And to be there ready. So he calls, I think it was his brother he was talking to, Yukio, and tells him, we got the job. He's got to be there tomorrow at, like I said, between 6 or 8. I can't remember. But then he sees this little girl who we saw at the church. I keep trying to think of the right name to call it, but I'm just going to call it the church. And is seeing her chase after a scarf that was, around her neck. He gets it and is handing it to her. And then he starts seeing these little, like, black orbs. And I think this was actually more of like a little creature that had grabbed onto the scarf and then started running off with it. So he's chasing this thing through the store, knocking displays over, and ends up saving, I believe it was the same little girl. She was about to get crushed by a bunch of cans. I think it was beer. And he jumped in the way and covered her up while everything landed on him. Despite that, he got fired. So he's going home, all upset. Ends up stopping by a park. Yukio and the others go look for him, and he ends up going to the park because he pretty much figured that's where he was going to be. They head home, and I forget what kind of punishment he had. But anyway, the next day, he's just cleaning up around the church, and this guy from the day before, this dude and his friends who were killing pigeons, came by, basically trying to bribe him. He was basically saying that his dad, I guess, is like some really important person, and he'd pay him money to keep him from talking about what happened. And he's like, oh, well, you don't need to worry about that. I'm not going to say anything. You don't need to pay me. And he starts walking off. But this guy is looking rather strange because he's being possessed by a demon. And the more and more he starts talking, the more his features start to change. And then he has his friends drag him to the ground, which they do. And he gets it's like a rhubarb, and like heats it up. And I think he was gonna stab him in the eye with it. But before he could, his dad shows up and exorcises the demon. And that's where it ended. He was saying, I think, that he had to get him out of there and they needed to hide him. And that he was the son of Satan. Rin is the son of Satan. Not the guy that they just exorcised. But yeah. Now we gotta see what's going to happen in this episode. See how he's going to take the information, which is not going to be good. Because, I mean, who wants to be told that they're the son of the devil? I mean, unless they're completely psychotic, or we're trying to do that, like have them be possessed anyway, then I don't think anybody would want to actually be possessed by the devil. Anyway, the video is going to be located over here, and the link to the reaction is going to be in the description down below. Okay, that's better. Alright. Turn this down a bit. What volume is this at? That should be good. If I need to turn it up, I will. We're going to start this episode in 3, 2, 1.